So question number 1 says, the sunscreen bottle was full at the beginning of the day. Part A, which graph best represents applying the same amount of lotion every hour until gone? So again, it was full. We're applying the same amount every hour. So it's going to be gradually declining, the amount in the tube, and then it's going to be gone. In A, it's full, and you apply the same amount, but it's not gone. There's still some in there, so it's not A. In B, it's full, but you don't apply very much, and then all of a sudden you apply a whole bunch. So that's not the best choice either. C is the gradual straight line to then be empty, so C would be your choice. Are there any questions about this problem? All right, then let's look at question number 2. Question number 2 is similar. It says the sunscreen bottle was full at the beginning of the day. Which graph represents applying the lotion frequently during the day? It doesn't say anything about it being gone. Now, I think that this question was a little misleading because maybe it was empty and maybe it wasn't at the end of the day. I kind of put a question mark. I didn't make this study guide, by the way. The high school did. But what they were really looking for here was C. So the difference in A and C is that C still has some left in it, okay? I think A is also an acceptable answer. B is not because, once again, it's not at the same rate, okay? True, that's true. I don't like this question. This type of question is really not going to even be on your CQA. But again, this was made by the high school, so that's question 3. So in question 3 it says, choose all of the relations below that are not a function. So when you're looking for things that are a function and not a function, you want, if it's not a function, then that means that the x value repeats. There's more than one of the x value. So looking at the first one, only at the x values. I could care less about the y values. -4, 7, 3, and -3. That is a function, because none of the x's repeat. So it's a function. The second one, -3, 5, 5, 10. This is not a function because you have 2 5s, 2 x's that repeat. The next one, 3, -5, 8, 3. Oh, a 3 and a 3, not a function. The fourth one, 2, 1, -3, 2. You have, again, 2 x's that repeat. And the last one, 3, -4, 5, and -1. No x's repeat, so this is a function. So when it's asking you to choose all, it's the second, third, and fourth one that are not functions. Question 4 says, which table of values does not represent a function? Once again, a function, x can't repeat. Okay? If it is a function, then x can't repeat. So we're only looking at the x values. I don't care about the y values in any of these. Okay? We're only looking at the x values. So in A, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nothing repeats, so this is a function. In B, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Nothing repeats, it's a function. C, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5. I have x's that repeat. This is not a function. And the last one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nothing repeats, So this is a function. So which table does not represent a function? C. All right, question number 5. Solve y equals 4x minus 12 for the given domain values. Domain means the x values. So if I said that x equals negative 3, and I put that into this equation that they give me, y equals 4x minus 12, and again, I'm saying that x is negative 3, so 4 times negative 3 minus 12, well, that would be negative 12 minus 12, which is negative 24. So this first ordered pair would be negative 3, negative 24. So looking at my choices here, negative 3, negative 24, B would not work. C, negative 3, negative 24, D would not work. So now I'm going to try for negative 1, if x is negative 1. So 4 times negative 1 minus 12. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4, minus 12 is negative 16. So if x is negative 1, y is negative 16. A, negative 1, negative 16. C, negative 1, positive 16. So your choice is A. That is question. The graph below shows the volume of air in a balloon as you blow it up until it pops. At what interval of time was there a stop in blowing up the balloon to take a breath? So I'm looking at this graph, and I see that the balloon doesn't get any bigger right here, and it doesn't get any bigger right here or right here. So there's 3 times that whoever was blowing up this balloon paused to take a breath. At what interval? Well, between 2 and 3, between 5 and 6, and between 7 and 8. There's only going to be one of those that's one of your choices, and that is D, between 2 and 3. There were other 2 possibilities, but those possibilities were not choices. During these other intervals, the balloon was getting larger. That line was going up. Question 7 wants to know what equation shows this line. So one thing that I notice about this line, Slope Dude would say what about this line? It's a nice negative. So I'm looking at my 4 choices, and I see in A, slope is a positive 1/3. I see that B is also a positive 1/3. But I see that C is a negative 1/3 and D is a negative 1/3. So C and D both show negative slope. The only difference in C and D are the y-intercepts. So I look to see where is my line crossing the y-axis. That is a positive 3 that is crossing the y-axis. So my choice is C. Wants to know what is the slope of this line. First of all, Slope Dude would say this is puff, puff, positive. That means I can automatically eliminate A and B. So now looking at this slope, it's either going to be 1/6 or just a 6. Now, if it's just a 6, remember that's 6/1. The top number tells you how many you're going up. So on this one, it's kind of hard to see. They don't give you points, but I'm going to use these. I'm going up. Obviously, I'm going up more than 1. I'm going up 6 and right 1. So it is D. Up 6, right 1. Any questions on problem number 8? Okay, let's look at problem number 9. Problem number 9 says, which equation has a graph with no X-intercept? There were a lot of people that asked me questions about this because they said, What does X-intercept mean? We didn't learn about that. You're right. When we look at equations, we're always talking about the y-intercept. But what does y-intercept even mean? Kendall. Where the line intercepts the y-axis. So x-intercept would be where it intercepts the x-axis. So the only time, if this is a coordinate plane, okay, and this is our y-axis and this is our x-axis, the only time that it would ever be possible for something not to intersect the x-axis would be if we have a horizontal line. A horizontal line is not going to intercept the x-axis no matter how long it goes from left to right. Every other line out there would. So if it has positive slope, it will. If it has negative slope, it will. And if it has undefined, which is straight up and down, it will. Okay? So zero slope is the only slope that will not intercept the x-axis. So let's look at this. X equals 4. Do you know how you would graph that? Alright, so if x equals 4, let's say that's 4 on the x-axis, let's just pretend, then that means no matter what y is, x is going to be 4. So x equals 4 might look something like that, okay, which is undefined slope. So it's not A. Let's look at B. B says x equals y. Well, we always write things y equals x, don't we? Y equals whatever. So what is the slope in y equals x? 1. Slope is 1. So I said if the slope is 1, it's going to definitely intercept the x-axis, okay? So it's not B. C. It says negative y equals positive x. So positive y would equal negative x. So what's the slope in that? Negative 1. So again, it's going to intercept because it has a slope. And here we have, I bet you know what it's going to be now, y equals 10. That means that it's crossing the y-axis at the 10, and it's going to go straight across. It's never going to cross that x-intercept. So for number, what number am I on? 9? Thank you. For number 9, which equation in the graph has no x-intercept? It's D, when it's just y equals something. Okay? Because slope is 0. Slope is 0. Alright, looking at number 10. What is the y-intercept of the graph negative 3y equals negative 4x plus 9? Remember, to be able to identify slope and y-intercept, we have to have just the y by itself. So how would I get just the y by itself? I need to divide by negative 3. Because right now, y is being multiplied by negative 3, so I'm going to divide by negative 3. And I need to divide both of the terms on the right of my equation also by negative 3. So that's going to give me y equals positive 4 over 3x minus 3. 9 divided by negative 3 is negative 3. So what is the y-intercept? Negative 3. Alright, so in question number 11, it wants us to find the slope that goes through those 2 points. Remember the formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Problem 11 and 12 both use that formula. So in problem 11, I'm doing negative 4 minus negative 3 over 5 minus 2. Negative 4 minus negative 3 is the same thing as saying negative 4 plus 3, which is negative 1. 5 minus 2 is 3. So negative 1/3, that is choice C. Number 12 is worked out just the same way. They're giving you 2 points. You're doing y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So 8 minus 1 is 7. 4 minus a negative 6 is like saying 4 plus 6, which is 10. So a positive 7 over 10 is A. We are on question 13. Question 13. So in question 13, it wants you to solve for y, meaning we need to get rid of the 4x, we need to get rid of the minus 2 that's in front of that y. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of the 4x by subtracting 4x from both sides. That's going to give me negative 2y equals negative 4x minus 8. The second thing that I need to do is divide by negative 2. And I need to divide both of these terms over here by negative 2. So I'm left with, on the left, just y. Negative 4 divided by negative 2 is a positive 2. And negative 8 divided by negative 2 is a positive 4. That matches up with D. (14) says, which of the following is an equation of a line with a slope of negative 2 that passes through the point negative 8, negative 1. So they're giving us the slope, m equals negative 2. And you can see that in all of these equations, they all have negative 2 there. So that's not helping us out at all right then. But what we need to do is we need to use our formula, y equals mx plus b, to find what our y value is, or sorry, our y-intercept, okay? Remember that negative 8 is x and negative 1 is y. So negative 1 equals the slope, which is negative 2, times the x, which is negative 8, plus b. Now I'm going to do negative 2 times negative 8, that's 16. And to get b by itself, I'm going to subtract 16. So negative 1 minus 16 is a negative 17. So b is a negative 17. So when I'm writing my equation, which one of these has y-intercept of negative 17? A. So that is your choice. I will be posting 1 through 14 that we just did.